Your cat dropped something at your feet. You screamed. They looked at you, and then they walked away. Not hurt, not startled, not confused by your reaction. Just done. They had done the thing. They had waited to see if you understood. You clearly didn't. And that was, apparently, your problem. Most people receive this as a cat being strange, or gross, or operating on some alien logic that has no translation. But animal behaviorists who have studied this behavior across thousands of cats found that it is not strange, and it is not random, and it has a very specific emotional driver, one that changes the entire way you read the cat who brought it. There are 3 things your cat could be communicating when they bring you something dead. One of them is the one everyone assumes. The other 2 are things most owners never consider. And the third one? The third one is the one I think you're going to remember. Because the next time there's something on your doorstep, you're going to know exactly what to do. And your cat is going to notice whether you did. Reason 1. The teaching behavior. When your cat has decided you cannot hunt. This is the most documented reason, and the one that behavioral researchers point to most consistently. And it is not, as most people assume, simply about pride or showing off. Cats in social groups teach. This is not widely known because cats are characterized, culturally, as solitary and non-cooperative. But mother cats teach their kittens to hunt through a progressive curriculum. They bring back live prey and release it in front of the kittens. They demonstrate the kill. They watch the kittens practice and intervene when the technique is wrong. It is specific, repeated, and clearly intentional instruction. Your indoor cat has watched you attempt to feed yourself. They have observed you engage with this task. And at some point, based on evidence you provided through your daily behavior, they made an assessment about your hunting competency. The assessment was not flattering. A cat who brings you dead prey is, in the most straightforward behavioral interpretation, doing the teaching behavior their instinct has triggered. You are a member of their social group. The evidence suggests you are struggling with the prey acquisition portion of survival. They are addressing this. The specific behavioral detail that confirms this interpretation? What your cat does after delivering the gift. A cat who is teaching doesn't just drop and leave. They often position themselves near the offering and watch you. They make eye contact. If you remove the object without examining it or engaging with it, some cats will bring another one. They are waiting for the apprentice to engage with the lesson material. When you screamed and they walked away, they were not hurt. They were noting that you had, once again, failed to make progress on the prey assessment. Unbothered, but noted. Reason 2. The provisioning behavior. When your cat is feeding their group. This is the reason that tends to stop people, because it requires accepting that your cat has, at some point, decided that you are their dependent. Cats who provision, who bring food back to a location and deposit it, are engaging in a behavior that, in their evolutionary history, served a specific social function. The provisioning of food to other members of the group. Cats provision their kittens. Bonded adult female cats sometimes provision each other. And cats who have formed a strong enough attachment to their human, who have designated that human as a member of their social group, sometimes provision them. The distinction between teaching behavior and provisioning behavior is subtle but observable. Teaching behavior involves positioning near the gift and watching. The cat wants you to engage with the prey, to interact with it, to demonstrate that the lesson is landing. Provisioning behavior is different. The cat delivers the gift and does not wait for you to engage with it in a specific way. The gift is for you to have, not to interact with under observation. Sometimes they bring it to a location associated with you. Your bed, your shoes, outside your bedroom door. The location matters. This is not random deposit. This is intentional delivery to a specific recipient. The emotional driver here is not instruction. It is provision. Your cat is feeding you. That is a word with weight. A cat who brings you food, even food you do not want, even food that makes you scream, is a cat who has decided that your well-being is their responsibility. That ensuring you have resources is something they should be doing. A tolerating cat does not do this. A cat who has decided you are theirs does. Reason 3, the gift behavior. And this is the one I want you to hold. Here is the third reason, and I want to be precise about how I'm framing this, because it is the one most easily dismissed as projection, and I think that dismissal is too fast. Some cats bring gifts that are not prey items: toys, socks, a hair tie, a piece of fabric, an object from another room. Objects that have no nutritional value and serve no instructional function. These cats are not teaching and not provisioning. They are doing something that behavioral researchers describe carefully, because it is a behavior that pushes against the cultural assumption that cats are not emotionally generous. The gift behavior, the bringing of objects to a specific person, not for any functional reason, is most commonly observed in cats with the highest recorded affiliative scores. The cats whose attachment to their chosen person is strongest. The cats who, by every other behavioral measure, have committed most fully to the relationship. They bring things, not because the things are useful, not because the recipient needs them, but because the act of bringing something to someone you value is, in some register of their social understanding, what you do for someone you have chosen. The 2020 research on cat affiliative behavior includes documentation of cats who bring objects specifically during reunions, when an owner returns after extended absence. Not food, objects. As if the first impulse, on seeing the person they had been waiting for, was to bring them something. That is not hunting instinct. That is not territorial behavior. That is a cat who saw someone they had been missing and reached for the nearest thing and brought it. Your cat has no word for, "I am glad you are here." They have no gesture culturally established to convey it. What they have is the ability to pick something up and carry it to you. And they used it. Part 4. How to respond. What your cat is actually waiting for. Here is the practical section, because knowing why they do it only matters if it changes what you do next. And the answer, across all 3 reasons, is the same. Receive it. Not enthusiastically, not dramatically. Your cat does not need you to celebrate the offering, but they need you to acknowledge that a thing was brought, that you saw it, and that you understand it was brought to you. The specific response that behavioral researchers recommend, because they have studied what actually produces continued and increased gifting behavior versus what ends it, is a calm, low-key acknowledgement. Look at the gift. Make brief eye contact with your cat. Use a low, warm tone if you speak. Do not make a big production of removing it. Remove it after your cat has left the area or stopped watching. What you are communicating with this response is, "I received what you brought. I understood it was for me." And what your cat is assessing, in the moments after they deliver, with the patience and inscrutability that cats have always had, is whether you understood. Most owners fail this assessment repeatedly and never know they failed it. They react with alarm or disgust, or they remove the gift immediately in a way that signals rejection of the offering. And their cat, who was watching, who had waited, notes this, and often brings something again. Because the instinct doesn't stop simply because the recipient doesn't understand it yet. They are, in this as in everything, more patient than we deserve. Here's what I want you to think about. At some point in your life with your cat, on some morning you probably cannot specifically recall, your cat carried something to you. Something they had caught or found or retrieved from somewhere in the house. And they put it down in front of you or near you or at the place you would find it. And they waited. Maybe for a few seconds, maybe longer, to see whether you understood what they had done. And you reacted, or you didn't react in the way that registers, and they walked away. Not hurt. Cats are not hurt by this. They are too old as a species to have developed expectations about whether the things they care about will understand them correctly. Unbothered, but noted. Here's what I want you to know about that moment. Your cat, who is built by 19 million years of evolution to be solitary and self-sufficient, to need nothing from anyone and to offer nothing that is not tactical, that cat decided that you were worth bringing something to, that you were in the category of beings whose well-being they were responsible for attending to, that when they had something, you should have some of it. That is not instinct overriding relationship. That is relationship activating instinct. The instinct exists. Your cat chose to direct it at you. The next thing they bring you, the dead mouse at the door, the sock dropped at your feet, the toy placed carefully on your pillow. That is not a cat being strange. That is a cat bringing you the only thing they have to offer. And now you know what to do with it. Tag someone whose cat brings them things. Tell them, the cat is trying to take care of you. Tell them, let the cat take care of you. If this changed how you'll receive the next thing at your feet, hit subscribe. Every week, we go deeper into what your cat is actually communicating, the behaviors most people laugh off, misread, or fail to answer correctly. Next week, why your cat stares at you while you sleep, and what the behavior means about the decision they made about you a long time ago. That one is both more touching and slightly more unsettling than you'd expect. Drop a comment below. Has your cat ever brought you something? What was it? A mouse? A sock? Something you never identified? Tell me, and tell me how you reacted, because I think knowing what they were doing changes how you feel about that moment. And I want to know if it did.